Saturday morning shave test. It's blowing a gale outside, it's raining. I'm on the south coast of England. It's an atrocious January the 7th. But I thought just a little test. Two different soaps, both by the same company. One the Cella Red, which I rather love, and one, this is the Cella Blue. This one is the aloe vera, and this one is the almond oil. Be interesting to see how they perform one against the other. So probably a silly test. Also, I'd try and test a couple of different razors. So bear with me. I've used the blue, rather nice Italian Omega Pure Cetola. This is for the aloe vera, for the blue. I'll do half the face on this one. And I'll do half the face with the red, just to see if I can feel any difference. But more interesting to you chaps out there, I'm going to do a test between my Yurri Consul and my Philharmonica tridur and see how they hold up. Both have been used quite a few times. I've HHT'd them, they're both very good. I'd still say the tridur is slightly better. It's got Gary's wonderful edge on it, which I believe the final finish was on an Arkansas. So that is a beautiful razor. It'll be its 25th shave today. But the Yurri's is still extremely good. And that one, I think I've had probably the same number of shaves on. Different steels, different dates, different edges. Both are full hollows. I believe Yurri does an ultra special hollow. Mine's just the standard deep hollow. But anyway, the more hollow the better as far as I'm concerned. So there's one side is the red, the other side is the blue. I'm not a great expert at lathers, but it's just interesting. The two razors though are supreme, if I can show you. There's the tridur, Philharmonica tridur, probably the best razor ever made, in my opinion. And there is the Yurri's Consul with the ever-changing colour grips. When it comes to stropping, as you can probably see, the Philharmonica has thinner scales and frankly is much easier to strop. There's something perfection about the dimensions of the older razors. The Consul is chubby, but once you're used to it, supremely good razor. Probably one of the best razors in the world. I don't have a huge range of Yurris, I've only got two. However, let's have a go. Yeah, that's a good Consul. That's very, very nice. I just find the scales are a little more awkward to get used to than what I'm used to. I prefer the older razors. I prefer usually a Palmera. Oh, that's really cutting well. Or I prefer a good Philly. However, I've been shocked recently by trying a River razor by Boris Riviere, and that's got modern steel and that's superb. What was interesting with the Boris razor, which I won't test today, but the Boris has the same, more or less the same dimensions as a Philharmonica tridur, and the crazy thing is, it doesn't matter what edge you put on it, it still HHTs better than any other razor. So Boris has got some very good steels and very good tempering. Anyway, as you can tell, this is a superb razor. Let's try now on the other side with the tridur, which I say is tridurs are just wonderful. Oh my goodness me, yeah. There's just something about a Philharmonica, apart from the price. Yeah, Very little difference between them. I think the better test now is to go over the same area on the other side with a different razor. So let's, no more soap, just try it as it is. Let's just see. This is only a first pass. Now let's go with the Consul on the other side, which has just had a shave, a first pass shave with the tridur. Yeah, the feel of the steel on the skin, the tridur is better. This is nothing as a comparison. It's not a fair comparison. To say this has been honed just the once by Gary Hayward and is supreme. This was honed by myself. This is not a Yurri edge. This is my edge. So it could be that my edge isn't as good. But we'll lather up again and do a few more passes. And I'll call that a day. So, as far as the soaps are concerned, I can't tell the difference. I would say both are absolutely wonderful. I've always found that I'm not an aficionado on lather. To me, it's just part of the process. But I've certainly found that the Cella or Cella is very, very kind. It also doesn't dry out that quickly, whereas others I've used, you've got to have more knowledge than I have for getting the best possible lather out of them. As I say, lather isn't my big thing. However, looking at that looks like a perfectly reasonable lather. Let's be naughty and mix the streams. Let's cross the streams. This is the aloe vera. Yeah, why not? We'll put some of that on as well. As you can see, both lather up extremely well. Personal preference, I suppose. I'd be happy with the aloe vera or with the almond oil. Probably not a lot of difference between them. But one thing I do notice though is for ease of handling, the Philharmonica is still better. For actual edge, that's up to the person that puts the edge on. But for me, this is the 25th shave on this tridur. Do you know what? It gets better each time. You'd think by now it'd be worn out. So I must be doing something right. No pearls of wisdom from me, I'm afraid, chaps. I am a mere amateur, but I do love testing. Give me half a chance, and I'll test anything. Let's try a against the grain with the Consul and see how that performs. It's still a little bulky compared with the Philly. But very smooth. Yeah. Still give the tridur the edge. As you can hear, it's also slightly more noisy. It's slightly more concaved. Oh, that's the grind, obviously. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I've always had trouble getting the final bits of a moustache. That will do. Yeah, it's very nice. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you chaps to death. This is just an experiment, as usual, from me. Given a choice, I'll still go for the Philharmonica. Steel quality, who knows? I just found with the tridur, the Philharmonical tridur, it's still the best razor I've ever used. And if you've got the money to buy one, these aren't cheap. It's the rarest of the Philharmonicas, so I've been told. However, if you want a really nice, slightly chubby, slightly thicker scaled razor, yeah, it's just that you have to get used to one or the other. It's more difficult. I would say if I was going to pick a modern razor, you really couldn't go wrong with a Consul. But I'd still say if you want the traditional feel and looks, I'd go for a river razor or I'd go for a Philharmonica. Anyway, I'm not going to bore you anymore. So that's two different Cella or Cella. I'd recommend either or both. Take your pick. They're both extremely good. Brushes. There's the cheap piece of rubbish from the other day. Don't buy cheap brushes. This is really cheap. They said it was natural bristle. No, they said this was nylon. This was no cruelty. They lied. This is definitely a bristle brush, probably made from some dead yak somewhere. It's fucking horrible. These two are supremely nice if you like bristle brushes. I'm a little bit anti-bristle. There's my favourite. That is from Gary, and that one is a nylon, and that's a lovely, lovely brush. But these two are really nice. They're Italian. They're Amiga, Pure Cedola, made in Italy. Either of those you wouldn't go wrong with. They're both cheap, but they're both high quality. So anyway, don't stint yourself like I normally would on brushes. Get a decent brush. That's it, chaps. I hope you have a wonderful Saturday. Thanks for looking in. Another test done.